to Trevor's book of poetry. Well, Trevor and I go back a long way. What I found in my filing system, to my great surprise this morning, was the score sheet of a chess game between G. Chester's and T.D. Hughes, British Championship, under 15 section, round 9, 23rd of August, 1960. So we've known each other at least 57 years, and if you're interested, it was a draw. It was a no-score draw, but where I think Trevor had most of the possession and most of the territory, but so I got away with it. Since then, I was from Crewe, Trevor was from Liverpool, and we used to meet playing chess, not just in the British Championships. But after we went our separate ways to universities, you don't have any expectations necessarily of meeting again. But one day I was walking along the main mall, as it were, the University College Swansea, and bumped into Trevor, who said he was doing a PGCE. So we reconnected after a gap of several years. And then we came to Hull in 1972, and my wife got a job at Hymers College and came home one day and said, there's this new English teacher who's asked me if my husband's name is Graham. And of course she said yes, and it was Trevor. And so we've been stalking each other for at least 57 years, and we've never played another game of chess. I think that's true. Trevor got in touch, must have been 2 years ago, to say that he was ready to think about publishing poems, which I knew he'd been working on, although I didn't know the detail on how many and over what timescale. And he asked me if I'd look over the manuscript and make honest comments. It's a dangerous thing to ask and a dangerous thing to say yes to. But our friendship survived those exchanges. I made some suggestions as radical as leaving out a poem, mainly at the level of vocabulary, I guess, and tone. And Trevor would answer, "Thanks very much for your suggestions. I'll give them proper consideration," which he did, but I have to say, he didn't make all that many changes, which is what you'd expect from a proper poet. And Trevor is absolutely a proper poet. There's something very special, though, about this book, which I think will emerge from this afternoon. It's not just a book of poems, a sequence of poems. It's an act of courage. So, thank you. Trevor Hughes.
Thank you for that very kind introduction, Graham. I have very fond memories of our friendship over the years and much appreciate all you did to help me in the publication of this book. Not the least, actually suggesting the title for the collection, taken from one of my poems, Collecting Your Belongings, and it just felt so right with its resonance in different ways. So thanks for that. I should begin by thanking everybody for coming. It's lovely to see so many friends here, and welcome to one and all. I'm particularly grateful to Mal Scott for this delightful venue, to John Swagger, who's not here but who designed the front cover for my book, which I'm totally delighted with, Mike Hill for help with publication, Jeff and Strawberry Moon for performing an interlude today. I'll be reading a few poems, and then Jeff and his group will be playing for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then I'll finish off with one or two more poems in the sequence. I should also say I'm delighted to see David Smith from Mind here as well. Is my voice carrying across all right? Yeah. Oh, jolly good. For me, I'm very pleased to be reading to you in the year of when Hull is the city of culture, and to think that I can make my own little contribution in both having the book published and being able to read to you today. I did initially have an image of myself with this collection as being like a kind of ancient mariner. I've seized upon an audience, and I'm delivering what in some respects could be seen as a harrowing tale with an albatross around my neck. But I'm hoping that you will see it as life-affirming too. This is my tribute to my son Peter, much as, if you like, Tennyson wrote his In Memoriam to Arthur Hallam, a poem I've always admired. So I'll offer some explanations of some of the poems as I go along. I'll begin with the first poem in the collection, which is Birth. A long, drowsy night, waiting, yet nothing happens. Falling asleep despite myself, unable to keep watch. Anticipating the shrieks that do not come. You will appear in a theatre, wrenched out with forceps. I will hold you first, embrace your likeness, bear your weight. I guess many of you will have had that magical experience of the birth of a child. It's such a wonderful moment. So you don't know what lies ahead, and you know there's an awful responsibility, but it's a wonderful moment. I'm going to now leap ahead in time. I felt that Peter's childhood was a happy one. He was very athletic. He loved games. He was very bright, and there was one particular routine we used to have when he was coming home from school. He would race towards me, and I would grab him by the hands and swing him round. And this was an image I keep in my mind, although it's tinged with what would happen later. So this is called Whirligig. Drifting down the street on autopilot, you look up, burst into a grin, sprint towards me, ready to be hurled. Legs flying outwards, you swoop and spin, clinging to my grip. Fearless, unrestrained, gliding to a halt against a cloudless sky. How soon I will become a satellite of you, hurtling towards oblivion. As Peter grew up, there were some rather troubling signs starting to emerge. It wasn't always easy. By the time I'm moving on to now, was a time when my first marriage had broken down, and Peter was living with me, which he did for 6 years. And there was a particular occasion when I was a bit shocked when he was revising for some examinations to find that he was indeed not only writing on papers, but occasionally writing on the wall in front of him. A symptom I didn't recognise for what it was at the time, but nonetheless was somewhat disturbing. So this poem is called Writing on the Wall. Notes for your exams start to appear line by line above your desk. Geometric diagrams, mathematical formulae, fragments you have shored. Indecipherable scrawl, spiral out of control. You say they help you to revise. I don't read the signs at first. Think it peculiar for sure. Another teenage aberration. A kind of modern hieroglyphics. Maybe a touch of genius as the first cracks open. The background to our life at this time was in fact the building of the Humber Bridge. And I think work began about in the early 70s and wasn't completed till 1981. But it was a place that many of us used to go on a weekend to see how things were progressing. And I've been there many a time with my son, but I didn't realise what significance this would later assume. So this poem is called Landmark. We watched it rise out of the sea, vast concrete towers, cables stretching across the void. Crowds gathered on the shore to go up and speculate. Routine Sunday pilgrimage. Food wrappers accompanied the usual flotsam along the water's edge. Stone by stone it grew until the first cars came, hovering in space. You biked there at night, gazed into the murky depths for your private view. The Humber Bridge did have some happy associations for me and for my son. As Graham has always alluded to, we played chess together. Graham didn't tell you that he was actually British under-15 champion at one time. And chess did become an important part of our lives. Peter loved playing in tournaments. He would eventually become British under-16 champion himself. And we had some happy times playing in tournaments representing Hull or Humberside against other counties. And on these trips we would go over the Humber Bridge, and you could sense he was at ease and happy in that environment. So the next poem is called Chess. Crossing the bridge into Lincolnshire, you are relaxed, immersed in another world. The team coach buzzes, easy banter flows as miles race by, heading for the tournament where clocks tick, pawns advance and pieces are exchanged. Your knee shakes, you disappear off stage between moves. But here there are solutions to problems, strategies for success, astute tactical maneuvers, gambits, and knight sacrifice to lay bare the king. You leave the board, fist raised, glow in victory. Around this time, Peter, living with me as a single parent, we had different flats and bed sits and so forth. And there would be a point where he'd be in one place and I'd be in another. And on one occasion, he came to visit me, and to my amazement, he brought in a cage with a hamster in it. Obviously, he felt he wanted some companionship where he was staying. Unfortunately, this turned out to be quite a painful night for me because he fell asleep rapidly and I was awake with a hamster, which started to run round its wheel in the dark. And it just seemed to say a lot about the things I was having to deal with. Hamster. Scratch, scratch, scrabbling feet inside the cage. On the floor, my son sleeps while I rage. Clunk, clunk, it comes alive, treads the wheel. I hear only sounds of madness in hoops of steel. Whir, whir, up a ratchet, humming now it gathers pace. Spinning torment fills the darkness, hurtles on through time and space. There were moments when I was very worried about him. There were moments when he seemed fine. One of the things he enjoyed was cycling. One of the dominant images in the book is of Peter with his bike. And sometimes on a Sunday, like today, he would come across and visit Anne and me for lunch. So this is Sunday lunch. You burst in through the kitchen door, a startled smile on your face, breathless from pummeling your battered bike down troubled lanes. I greet you with strange jollity, the old routine, nothing too deep. You're balanced on the tightrope still. I know the pangs of sweet relief. I think if Hamster is an attempt to give some notion of how difficult it was becoming for me, I felt the need to write something to try and convey how difficult it was becoming for him. Schizophrenia is a serious illness, and it's hard to convey the gravity of what it must be for somebody who is hearing voices in their head or suffering from paranoid delusions. But I thought somewhere in this collection I have to try and convey that. And this particular poem is a way of doing it. It's called Imagine. Imagine a fierce black bird grips your shoulder, lunges at you in your cage. You try to block its jabbing beak, tearing at your head while you twist and writhe. Its claws dig in as it blames you for those secret sins. It clings to you when you go out, mocking what you say and do. You hide all this so no one sees the shame behind your averted gaze. This bird is here to stay. Peter was in and out of the health system. I did feel he could have had more support. I would say that many of the people working at a kind of ground level, with care workers and so forth, were very good with him, and mine were wonderful with him too. Although sometimes I thought the care he got left a lot to be desired in the terms of the NHS itself, if you like. I sometimes felt that people didn't cope with him as well as they could. They didn't talk to him as much as they could. He never really had any prolonged contact with a psychiatrist. And he had a problem with medication because he was given an antipsychotic drug which turned his whole body rigid and terrified him and really damaged his confidence in the medical profession anyway. And this was an experience that happened several times. On one occasion, he'd been given a drug just before I arrived, and it led to a difficult scene with some nurses present. Going to see my son in Ward 6. Writhing sideways on the floor, bulging neck twisted round, he lurches forward with a groan, hurls himself against the door, while nurses huddle to one side, cast nervous glances straight at me. It seems that I'm the one to blame. He was all right until I came. The pills they gave him with his meal had no effect on him at all. His mind was calm, his body still, until I came. He hugs me in the driving rain, holds me close against the pain, while nurses chant their set refrain. He was all right until you came. Surprisingly, he was actually very good in the environment of places like Margaret Street and Delapole, where he was sometimes looked after when he was on a downward spiral. And I was really taken aback once when visiting him in Margaret Street off Beverley Road to find him so at ease with his fellow patients. And he was welcoming, and he just seemed like a transformed person. But it had a kind of twist in it, which I'd like to try and explain to you in the following poem, which is called Margaret Street. I'd like to introduce you to Phil. He works undercover for the CIA. This is his badge. He's trained abroad, knows how to spot the enemy. Would you like a cup of tea? I've never seen you so relaxed, the perfect host in company, at home with fellow refugees whose special powers gives access to presidents and deities through television screens. I drop into the vast couch, sense a great weight lifted, but know that you will lose this prop. Discover cardboard cutouts have no currency in the outside world. The staff will disabuse you, as they must, and look to me for confirmation. Seemed rather cruel when he was so relaxed to know that at some point he would have to be told, look, this isn't the case, that this guy really isn't from the CIA, you're really not secure as you think you are. One kind of remarkable development around this time, because Peter had been a truly outstanding chess player, was he suddenly became interested in books. I'd always been a bit disappointed that he didn't read very much. Even when I gave him Catcher in the Rye, he didn't like it much. And he showed no particular interest in pursuing literature. But suddenly that changed. And in fact, he reread Catcher in the Rye and told me he loved it. And he went to the library and he started to read everything he could lay his hands on, from Freud to any modern writers he could grab. And he suddenly decided he wanted to write his own book. He wanted to give his own take on the world as he saw it. And so he went off into some remote places. He would go off regularly into Holderness, and there he would try and pitch a tent and try and be removed from one and all, and he would scribble away in the most appalling handwriting you've ever seen. And to think that this one day would emerge as a book seems pretty amazing. But that gave him a new side to his life, which had a lot of meaning for him. At one point, he took himself off to live in a caravan in Aram, and in a kind of farmyard. And in the summer, that was really fine. But when it got to winter, it wasn't so nice. So the next poem is a poem of one of my visits to see him. Caravan in winter. In a farmyard, exposed, you take refuge. At night, the wind screams through tin walls. I grip the icy handle, knock, peer inside. Coffee stains form seals on scattered papers. Rotting scraps of bread accumulate on mildewed surfaces. Like a taut spring uncoiled, you stride across, grasp by hand, abstracted, pointing to a pile of letters. You show me rejections from publishers and agents, yet smile, offer me a drink, inquire about my journey. I found this experience particularly touching because although he was really living in a very dire place, he was actually concerned about my well-being. It always took my breath away when that was the case. He said he hoped I would have a nice journey to see him in the countryside. He was worried about my relationships. How was I getting on? And it really just took my breath away. I'm going to finish this first half of my reading with a poem, another poem which tries to describe what it's like to suffer from paranoia. And it's based on some scribblings of his that I found, but they were nothing to do with literature. It was as though his mind had gone into some crazy overdrive and was just scribbling away, and certain phrases would keep recurring. So just to give some kind of notion of what that was like, I've written a short poem called Spell. Spell. God and the devil, shut your eyes, close your mind. God and the devil, surrender to my command. God and the devil, hear my voice, you're no good. God and the devil, follow me, you have no choice.
Hello, everybody. I'll try that one again. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Oh, you should be up here. Well, what can I say? How do you follow that? We'll attempt to follow that with some songs. We are Strawberry Moon, and as Trevor said, we're going to play for about half an hour, 35 minutes. And we hope you enjoy the songs. They're all kind of different. and they've all got a bit of a resonance, hopefully, with what Trevor's been speaking to you about. So this one is called Rainbow. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. See the rainbow in the sky. Doesn't it make you wonder, what is this world all around us, over us and under this thing which surrounds us? See the people in the town. Doesn't it make you wonder, rushing here and there, over us and under? They don't know, they don't care. See the fields and the rain. It makes you want to live again. The flowers in the fields, it all gives way to pain, and you wonder, is it real? See the clouds up in the heaven. Doesn't it make you wonder, what is beyond the clouds above us, over us and under? And does God really love us? See the rainbow in the sky. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's a very old song, and we're going to play songs from over the years. This one is a more recent song. When Sheila, our good friend, who's a mutual friend with Trevor, first told me that Trevor would like us to play something at this event, and what it was all about, I tried to find songs that would resonate with what the poetry was all about. So hopefully they all will in some way. This one is called Rebel Heart, and it's about that person you may know who looks like a kind of a regular citizen on the outside, but in actual fact is a bit of a rebellious spirit. So, Rebel Heart, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got a rebel heart. You got a rebel heart. Not quite what you see, but you dare to dream, and you wandered from wonder along the way. Lost sight of your goal, became part of the whole, and I wonder just what you would say if I told you. But I believe, yes I believe, that you got a rebel heart. You their ecstasy to fly. Your head is still holding on to your heart, but you're feeling the pull, something quite magical. And it wouldn't take that much to start when I tell you that I believe, yes I believe that you got a rebel heart. You got a rebel heart. Remember those days when you sneaked out at night and nobody knew where you were? Are you head in the clouds and it's all up for grabs and it's you and her? Oh, just you and her, yeah, you and her, you and her. You are a paradox, wrapped in chains with no laws. You could just get up and walk away. Perceived obligation, keeping you at your station. I hope that in time we'll see the day when I tell you and you believe, yes you believe that you got a rebel heart. 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 Rebel heart. Rebel heart. Rebel heart. Thank you very much. Okay, well, as you most of you will know, Trevor and Anne live in France, and we're going to try and take you to France musically, not lyrically. Des is going to get his concertina on the go, and we're going to play a song which kind of goes back to childhood times. Childhood for some of us, maybe. And we used to use candles as a main source of lighting, and candles kind of make everything look a little bit spooky, in my imagination anyway. So this song's called Candlelight. Are you ready, Des? In the shadows, beyond where the light goes, hiding away out of plain sight. You must take care. What will you find there? Visible only by candlelight. I'm not superstitious, but that thing is vicious. It only wants to rage and fight. We all must pray for the breaking of day to deliver us from the candlelight. Oh, strange and sinister lambent glow. Shadows are dancing, I wish that you would make them go. Taper and tallow, sunken and shallow, stare out at your fond of gold. Don't make me go back to disappear in black. You don't understand what's in that room. Cricks deep in churches, the silhouette lurches, clutching their linens tight, close and tight. Don't ask what's inside it, the heavens denied it, visible only by candlelight. Oh, strange and sinister lambent glow. Shadows are dancing, I wish that you would make them go. Reaches from the deep, appearing when you sleep, writhing tentacles dragging under. Red in tooth and claw, and gristle, bone and gore. Wake before you're torn asunder. Painted a powdery white, eyes blinking open, words softly spoken, traveling to you through candlelight. Forests and castles, long over battles, spirits returning with teeth to bite. Sprung from the page, like beasts from the cage, they only live in the candlelight. Oh, strange and sinister lambent glow. Shadows are dancing, I wish that you would make them go. Make them go. Make them go. Make them go. Thank you. Okay, now there's a slight change of mood now. And again, one that hopefully resonates, and it's a song about the times when your mind may play tricks upon you. It's called Playing Tricks. As I walk through the door, suddenly there's people disappearing through the floor. Running to the bathroom and the tap is running red. Tiptoe into the bedroom, someone's breathing in my bed. It's just my mind playing tricks on me again. It's just my mind playing tricks on me again. It's just my mind playing tricks on me again. Just my mind playing tricks on me again. It can happen anytime, can happen any place. Then it all just disappears without a single trace. When I tell the doctor, he says it's all in your head. I shouted out, the room's on fire. And this is what he said: it's just your mind playing tricks on you again. It's just your mind playing tricks on you again. It's just your mind getting stronger. It seems to last much longer. No use trying to hide it, I just can't pretend. When I walk in through the door, I don't wanna see nobody falling through the floor. How can I get to the heart of such a mystery? One day, you know, I thought I found the key, but it was just my mind playing tricks on me again. It was just my mind playing tricks on me again. It was just my mind playing tricks on me again. Just my mind playing tricks on me again. 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 Thank you. Another old song now. And this is one we've been trying to work into the set for quite a while. I think we've only played it once live, haven't we, so far? Much to Kathy's chagrin. So we thought today would be a good day to do it. And featuring Des on yet another exotic instrument, the kalimba. Just showing off, really.
Making South Africa as well, but the little metal times on there that you play are made in Sheffield.
Aha, excellent. Sheffield steel. Be right gradely then. Okay, so this one is called Call Me Over. We hope you like it. to pretend. I'll come running just to be with you. I'll come running. It's all I want to do. Feel a mystery. It's there for you and me to know. I can try to close my eyes. I can see you in 1,000 dreams. I can see you, and it always seems I am near you. You are near to me. I am near you. And then so suddenly it all slips away. Then what can I say or do on my own, all alone? Call me over. Call me over.
Call me.
Call me over. Call me over. Oh, yeah. I'll come running. Call me over. I'll come running. Yeah. Call me over. I'll come running. Call me over. Thank you. Okay, here we go. How can it be? A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. How can it be? How can it be? How can it be? How can it be? Everything that you believe in is suddenly up for grabs. The certainties you were deceived in, and nobody keeping tabs. You wouldn't credit they just don't get it. You couldn't make it up. Someone so great had it all on the plate and just had to break it up. Now how can it be? 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 Cliches don't quite have the power, inadequate to convey, more breathtaking by the hour, leaving you in disarray. And if they accept it, well, it looks like they kept it, and suddenly it's headline news. We cannot believe it, too late to retrieve it. So help me to loosen the screws. So how can it be? 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 Masks of our true nature, disguising the way that we feel, becoming a caricature, exaggerate to reveal. But if I get it past you, then it may outlast you. I will count that as a win. But if I should falter and fall at your altar, still I won't confess my sin. How can I be? How can it 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 be? Donald Trump in the presidency. How can it be? How can it be? Thank you very much. Okay, one more from us, and I guess this is a kind of a new song, but it goes back a long way. As Trevor was saying earlier, people used to go and watch the Humber Bridge being built. I used to live in North Ferriby when I was a teenager, so any journey into Hull on the train took you past the yards where they were assembling the massive pieces of roadway, and we wondered how they would ever get them up there in the sky. So we used to see that process, and then suddenly there it was. And getting to know Des and Kathy recently, went over to Barton for a wonderful evening that Des and two of his ex-teacher pals organise every couple of months, called Three Voices in Barton. So we were going over the bridge, and this song kind of suggested itself, and I thought, I hope it'll resonate with what's going on today, even though it wasn't written about what Trevor's been talking to us about. It kind of resonates for me. I hope it does for you. It's called Deep River. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Beware of the current storms are visible, we could be in for a storm. But nevertheless, you are flowing free to the throne. You are ordained. Turbulent down in the depths. Whatever is given, you gratefully will accept. No matter who, be it a friend or a stranger. Ships as they sail, quite unaware of the danger from the steam river. You are ordained. Shallows, but they can't be found. So why do I find myself splashing around in this deep, deep sunlight, dazzling like diamonds in motion. In your embrace, I will soon find my way to the ocean. Sirens of old calling to unwary sailors. To guide us, but ultimately will they fail us on this deep river? You are ordained, deep, deep river. You are ordained, river. You are ordained, deep, deep river. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kathy Allenby on vocals, ladies and gentlemen, and percussion. And Kelvin Baldwin on the cajon and some vocals. And Des Allenby on just about everything you can imagine. We are Strawberry Moon. We hope to see you again. Thank you. And thank you, Trevor.
And Jeff Parsons, who wrote all the songs that you heard this afternoon.
Thank you, Jeff and Strawberry Moon, for that delightful selection of songs. I've always believed in the complement, that music and poetry should be seen as complementary. My earliest memories of poetry readings were back in Liverpool in the 60s, when I used to watch Brian Patton, Roger McGough and Adrian Henry. And they would perhaps be followed by the scaffold. And there were some great evenings. Personally, it was my first realisation that poetry could be read in a Liverpool accent and that it could sound lyrical and beautiful. And so Brian Patton has always been one of my favourite writers. Peter himself actually was quite talented musically. I didn't mention that, but he loved nothing more than playing Scott Joplin rags as fast as he could. Following on from the last poem I read you, Spell, after periods where clearly Peter was on the way down, we had to talk these things through. And sometimes we would go to Hornsey and play mini golf. And although naturally we were both highly competitive, you haven't seen me playing chess or anything else, on these occasions it was a very affable, friendly occasion. Mini golf at Hornsey on Sunday afternoon. Breaking out through littered streets, past factories, billboards, shopping malls, barbed wire around the jail. We head off for the coast, down country lanes. Park before the ice cream van. No customers. A sharp breeze smacks as we tee off. Your ball soars, thuds to earth before the bunkers. Afterwards, the comforting routine. Greasy chips along the front. Gulls screeching overhead. Strolling past the vacant fairground, we both know the time has come to stop the voices, face the next incarceration, the drugs, the twisted body shapes, surrender to a cylinder of pills. So Pete found himself in Delapole again. Delapole, actually, remarkably, was quite a relaxing place to be in, I found. A really good refuge. There were times when I knew I alone could not help him. But in this environment where people were encouraged to take up painting classes and to wander around freely amongst the horses, again, he seemed relaxed. And from my point of view, however much you may believe in caring the community, and I do, I think sometimes there should be a place where you can go and be looked after and have your mind put at ease. And to see such places removed, to me, is a terrible thing. This is Delapole. In spacious grounds, removed from scrutiny of staff and patients, we breathe out, approach the horses in the field, stroke their faces clumsily, meander down quiet lanes, past yellow fields, absorb the smell of lavender. The setting sun glints on glass, dazzles as we cast for words to stay afloat, till hedges darken and flickering stars emerge above the red lights of the bridge. Back inside, play table tennis, despite wild outbursts and scuffles. You reassure me. They can't help it. Everyone gets mad sometimes. When Peter finally received his diagnosis, this was after several years, it was kind of abrupt and a bit unexpected. I was with him and we were summoned into a meeting of various people, doctors and other people. This was diagnosis. Finally comes, facing a panel of experts, doctors, care workers, administrators. Schizophrenia. I'm just a young man trying to sort out my life. Always a ready answer. Too sharp for them. So where now? Discharge in the community. Sentences passed. It wasn't so long after that on one occasion Pete became truly paranoid and ran one early morning to Humberside Police Station, where Anne and I had to go and fetch him. And to try and convey some nature of the thought process of paranoia, this is another poem called Next Door. Saw them through the bedroom window, going in and out. Know they're watching me again, ready to pounce. Heard them plotting through the wall, how they're going to do it. As I left, I saw them smirk. Their lips were mouthing murder. Have to call the cops again, though they don't believe me. For all I know, they're in it, part of the conspiracy. Only need to watch the news to see the writing on the wall. Suicide bombers in the street, terrorists in village halls. Going to head outside tonight, get some hash to calm me down. Wait till no one's bugging me. Come up with a final plan. Wipe the smiles from off their faces next time that I meet that scum. They think I'm weak and have no friends. The fools don't know I have a gun. If that fails, there's one sure way to drown the whispers, nagging roar. Head out for the bridge again, leap into the sea below. Soon after that, it was one lunchtime, I was at school, and we met up during my lunch break at the Linnet and Lark, which some of you may remember. And we often did this, we'd meet up for a bite to eat midweek or one evening. So this is the Linnet and Lark. We meet up for a drink, you knowing this will be the last time we have the lunchtime special, eaten without relish. Your eyes are elsewhere, words fall over a cliff, as forks scrape on empty plates. You take your leave in the street, accept a last embrace against your rigid body. Extract a promise from me to see your novel published if you get too tired. The Humber Bridge is a magnificent structure, and I would not in any way wish to say anything negative about it as such. Indeed, I recently met the chief executive of the Humber Bridge, who came to one of my readings, and was a truly delightful guy, trying to promote the Humber Bridge for recreation purposes, for tourists, but aware, as he put it, that he felt he had a duty of care to those who come to the bridge with suicidal thoughts in their minds. So this is my poem about that, and it's called Bridge. You stretch across the Humber, bright magnet for keen tourists, seductive in your elegance and panoramic vistas, a vicious snare for fragile souls, unseen on saucer souvenirs. Bodies dredge from lonely shores, drowned beneath your piers. What happened next was what I'd always been dreading. Each year that passed by, I thought, maybe he'll be okay. He's got through another year. He's quite remarkable, in my opinion, and you may have guessed I was very proud of him. But then one night in Cossington, I came home, and in front of me was a police car. Dark was the night. It parked outside the front. I knew at once, plunged into the house, screamed before they spoke. Black, the hole which sucked me in. I walked for hours while brazen streetlights glared beneath the stars. Heavy the heart, bursting to leave this earth. That same night, I had to go to the mortuary, an experience I wouldn't wish on anybody. But it was a very remarkable moment for me. When I arrived to see his body stretched out behind a glass cover, he had a kind of purple robe spread over him, and there was something about it that looked almost majestic, which kind of corresponded with my feelings about him. So, in actual fact, this is probably the first poem I wrote in this sequence that I've been reading tonight, and it's called identification. I enter the morgue alone. Bare windows, fluorescent lights, the aura of the tomb penetrates. A curtain is set aside. Fresh exhibit on display, broken relic of the past. Item for the public gaze, you lie enclosed in glass. I see a prince in purple robes, inert beyond invasion, in a simple sarcophagus, awaiting consecration. In silence I bow my head, enter the kingdom of the dead. I think I'll finish with the next poem. It's not the end of the sequence, but I think it's maybe a good point to finish today. The poem that gave the title, the poem's called Collecting Your Belongings, and it was in fact Graham who suggested to me that would be, Belongings would be a good title, as I said earlier. It was a very difficult moment for me again, but maybe it's a good point to stop today. Collecting your belongings. At his desk, the officer is wary as he goes to fetch the tray. Your wallet is still intact, everything in its place. Travel card, student ID, gym pass. No cash to spare. You never did have much of that. But no debts either. I signed for it, together with the bike, abandoned by the railings. So much a part of you, a battered frame, strained beyond endurance.